Hello, guys. It's your boy Congo Swag, Eddie Kadi, ComEddie Kadi, that boy from Congo. I'm so excited right now because for once, I'm able to talk to my people, to my brothers, my sisters about something so important, but also just use our talent to give that voice to the motherland. And right now, I would like to introduce two amazing people, two of my good friends. I've shared the stage with both of them. I've gone crazy around the world with both of them. Of course, one representing South Africa, who is an absolute gem, an amazing actress, an amazing stand-up comedian, and just overall a lovely human being. And the other is Zimbabwe, a crazy guy, absolutely crazy guy. And this guy is actually based in the United States of America and he's killing it out there. But today, I actually want to make sure that we understand what we're talking about here. You know, we keep ourselves laughing from crying. That's the most important thing we have to understand. We have to laugh to keep from crying. And for me right now, this ComEddie Hour is about discussing what's currently going on with the pandemic and, you know, what our brothers and sisters have been getting up to. So at this very moment in time, of course, I just want to make sure you guys understand the importance of what we have right now. So let me introduce to you the one and only Celeste Nthuli in the house.
Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you for bringing me on like this. I was so excited when you called me. I was like, oh my God, finally. Because I've been wanting to come to London. I'm like, when is this boy calling me? Busy dancing in the streets there. Like, how many times do you dance a day? I think it's a question.
With your energy, I have to be very, very careful because what you did to me in America, in LA, I have to make sure you do, because your energy and my energy combined, crime. It's definitely crime. And of course, Alfred Kainga, my brother.
Hey! We here, yeah!
Oh, we definitely here. We are definitely
What's going on, everybody? Hey, man, thank you for having me today, bro. This is amazing, even though it's too early for me. 9 o'clock in the morning, had to get me up out of here. But I said, for Eddie, I got to do it. And then he said, Celeste is going to be on it. I said, these are my people. This is family. So I'm excited to be here, man. I feel like I just jumped on a plane and flew somewhere.
Come on, my brother. You keep jumping on a plane. And that's what I've been doing. I've been pretending like I'm traveling. I leave my kitchen. It's Congo. I get in South Africa. I mean, if I'm in Botswana, no offense. I'm just
I like
places.
I'm about to go crazy. I'm about to go crazy in this house.
We are experiencing Africa without borders within our homes.
None whatsoever.
That's a dream come true. So guys, tell me, Celeste, what have you been up to during this pandemic? What have you been up to?
I won't lie, I came back on the 29th of Feb from US. So we started our lockdown 2 weeks after that. So I was exhausted. I've been traveling, I've been working. First 3 weeks, I was sleeping. I was catching my 8 hours sleep. I couldn't, I zoned off. Exactly what we're talking about, the choice between crying and laughing. I chose that God is giving me a nice break. Because sometimes you're saying you're on holidays, but when I'm on holiday, I become an auntie, and then there's another responsibility for family. So there was no responsibility. You can't visit anyone. So I took it as a nice time for myself. And then it started getting boring after I've taken so much time.
I understand.
and I didn't realize that they were going to, because in South Africa, the alcohol and cigarettes, they're banned. You can't buy them. They're not deemed as essential.
Oh yeah. For some people, they will argue with that. Yes.
Although they wanted to make vibrators essential.
Which is a whole different conversation now.
But you know what? This lockdown has raised certain questions. Like, there's a lot, when the lockdown started, they were like, okay, we must look out for those people who might be in a domestic violence and blah, blah, blah. Was this angry woman and she was, for me, she was justified angry because no one talks about what happens to single women. So that's why people were like, okay, we are here to support those who might be in a good, huge problem of domestic violence. But here we are, and our essential are not essential.
Well, this is it. This is what a lot of people are saying right now when it comes to the situation with what's essential and what's not essential. Alfred,
Yeah.
what is essential to you?
Man, just my sanity. This period for me has awakened me to what's more important than what I was putting up front. You know, I've realized that I have certain priorities. There's some things that we think we need when we really don't. You know, the last show that I did internationally, we were in Uganda. You remember?
Right.
Then we come back. Then 2 weeks later, we on lockdown. But when I came back, I actually got sick. So I really think I got the corona and I killed it.
You know what? This is what everybody's been saying the same thing. I think some people just got sick and everybody's lying on corona now. Corona.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, because I flew to Doha, and when I landed in Doha, man, I saw so many Asian people who had masks in February. They were already, and now when I think back, I'm like, those people were sick, man. They're already headed, man. And so when I came back, yes, I came back through Doha again. I saw so many people with masks. And this time, I was walking around with my head like this. Like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yo,
you know?
They were looking at you like you didn't catch the hints the first time. Oh, don't worry.
I didn't catch
you will pay.
There you go. When I came back, I caught it again. So when I got back to the States, man, I got sick 2 weeks later. But the doctor said, it's just a sinus infection. I said, I've never had a sinus infection with a headache like this, you know. But then the quarantine started. Yeah. So now I'm in the house. I'm like, what do I do? So at first it was like, okay, let me be positive. I'm going to read books. I'm meditating. I'm doing all this good stuff. And then later on, I'm like, you know what? This is nuts. I want to get out.
And this is
get me out of here. This is what
you're really going out to Doha.
I'm not back to Doha, but I just wanted to get out, and so it made me realize I can't do certain things. I can't do prison because I'm in my house going crazy. So imagine if I'm behind bars. You know what I mean? So what's essential for me is just the freedom to walk outside and be free, and to spend time with my family. You know, I got a 2-year-old daughter. I've been spending, that's my girl. That's my girl. I've been spending so much time with her, man. And, you know, I renovated my whole place. I renovated it. That's what I've done.
So what I'm getting from you is, of course, you have been busy. But here's the thing, right? On that note, you almost like, you know, we have the privilege of actually getting ourselves busy, right? You know, looking at the brightest side of it. And right now, you know, I just feel like there's so many people in different situations. You know, there are people around the world who may not be in a comfortable position as we are right now. And of course, a lot of them have not been covered. You know, people are not talking about this on mainstream media, as per se, you know, and we go all around the world, but specifically in Africa at the moment. You guys, you know, Celeste is in South Africa right now. And of course, Alfred, you're in the States. But Alfred, have you been in touch with some family members back home in Zim? Have they kept you updated on what's been going on back there?
Oh my gosh, yes, man. And you know, you're very right about that, because in Zimbabwe, it's a different case altogether. Like what Celeste is saying, they're not allowed to buy alcohol. They're not allowed to buy cigarettes. In the States, they are allowed to keep liquor stores and grocery stores open.
Of course.
So they knew if people don't get their alcohol, it's going to be mayhem. So, but in Zimbabwe, it's a different case altogether, because when the law says you can't go get it, brother, you can't go get it. You understand?
those guys react. Celeste, in South Africa, I saw when, you know, they really announced the lockdown, they were not playing games. Now, we had videos, because I want to talk about fake news in a while, but I want to focus on this part. There were videos that were going around about how South African police and authorities were reacting when people actually broke the law of the lockdown. Was this the case for real?
Yeah. Because they also released soldiers to come and, you know, control the township. You know, like the hood. Yeah. So even right now, I think there are 50 cases that have already been lodged against the South African Defense Force for unlawful. Yes, someone died.
Excess force,
and someone died, and blah blah blah. But our people are never without plans, because we went back to African Zulupia.
Shabin.
Homemade.
Shabin.
Issues for real, for real.
So, so they had to close the yeast and the ingredients because people were like, okay, we can't open the bottle store. We cool. Our mama taught us how to do beer.
We can look after ourselves. For real, for so now, what would be your advice right now? Let you know, in terms of, especially because listen, it's easy to give someone advice, but you're not in their situation, right? You know?
Right.
And I've spoken to both of you guys about INFORAFRICA campaign, and the fact that we're trying to get rid of misinformation, make sure the right information is spread out to especially those who are most vulnerable. A lot of the pandemic now is actually the disease is spreading. The virus is spreading to the outskirts, the rural areas, beyond the capital city, right? And you guys, what struck you about when we first spoke about the actual campaign itself? Why did you decide that it was right for you to be involved?
Well, for me,
I felt like it's like it was for me. It was a no-brainer. We wish for such platforms. We wish the mainstream will concentrate on such things that we want to talk about. Yeah. Sometimes it's not even about us not talking about. Well, for me, I know that in my material, in my comedy, I let it all out, and all my comedy is based on the experience of an African woman, of course. Right. So it for me it was a no-brainer when you said it, and the fact that how far and wide it's going to spread the message. It made so much sense that rather to do it in my little corner in my set, how about I expand exactly what I believe in into this. So it was not even for me. It's not even a campaign. It's a must.
Yeah, I totally have to agree and piggyback on that. When you called me about this thing, I was like, man, anything that has to do with home, with Africa. Yeah. I mean, Africa is in our heart. No matter where we were, we've had this conversation before, Eddie, that how much we love where we're from. So anything to help to spread a message, to develop our people, to just bring awareness, anything that has to do with uplifting Africa, I'm there. You know what I mean? So like Celeste said, it's a must. So we are using our voices because we've been given that gift and the platform and the influence. Why not use it? Absolutely, that influence, because there's a reason why you were placed where you are in the UK. I'm here in the US, and Celeste is in SA. There's a reason why we are where we are with our talents, is to give back to where we came from, to give back to home, whether we're giving it with spreading a word, we're raising funds, we're doing charity work, whatever it is, because all we got. If we don't do it, who's gonna do it?
In actual fact, I was like, I dreamed of the day where all African people in diaspora, like America, London, wherever, in other Western parts, because you've got better dollars. We can't bring the gold literally. You can't go to the Birmingham.
It will not work like that.
Can you bring our gold? But I believe that sometimes in a worse situation, best circumstances happen. Like in a worse situation, somehow they give birth to best of situations. For sure. For you guys to be there, it's a best situation for us Africans in Africa, in the motherland, because we might have our roots together and all the things that you yearn because you're far away from home. But what we don't have is the pounds and the dollars. If we can make a culture of, instead of waiting for Chinese to come here, how about a black brother comes? That's what I enjoyed when I was in Ghana, to see that whole black excellence, that black money, that black influence coming from the West, but it's black nonetheless, and African. And you will understand. I don't have to explain a lot of things to you as much as you stay in London, because being an African is an experience on its own. It's not even we're not just a race. We are a whole part. Like there's a lot of things happening here. So I feel if we can drive that, the need of development of things that are, because it's not I don't like to hold the idea or the notion that in Africa we just like this waiting for money.
Exactly.
No.
What happens is that we have the raw material, even in talent. The raw material is not in the minds only. It's within the people. What you will experience in Ghana, what you experience in Nigeria, what you experience in Senegal. I've never been to Congo. In Zim, you experience the air of people that are not heard, that are not given an opportunity to be heard for the world, not for the Western countries.
Yeah.
So if there's a brother with a better pound, a better dollar, enhancing my voice makes us all better. Because what happens is that when we are enhanced by other races, they're there to take the culture.
There you go.
And either way, you know what I mean? Either way, the culture is not shared amongst our people. It is exported and exploited.
And you know, so for me right now, when you're talking about, you know, we have to actually start relying on ourselves, and that's one of my favorite mottos. You know, for us by us. You know, Africans have to do things for Africa. Okay. And right now, you know, conversation when it comes to entertainment, you know, our job is to keep people happy. You know, and we're very good at it. But also what we have to, a lot of people don't realize is, you know, it's not about clowning. It doesn't take a clown to keep people happy when it comes to comedy. When we're talking about comedy, you know, it takes geniuses. It takes very intelligent people to be able to actually make a whole array of different personalities laugh all in the same room, right? Like, have you ever encountered a situation where you're expected to be that clown per se, as opposed to the actual person? So when you overshow your intelligence, like we're talking right now, people kind of go, "Oh no, too much. This is not your position."
I thought I was the only one. Like whenever I post something great like if I'm posting me going like, I'm getting like crazy like comments.
And you know what? That's exactly how it is. Even over here, we've had situations where you see even a basketball player like LeBron James, and he does something extraordinary like building a school and speaks on politics, and then the commentators say you just need to stick to dribbling the ball. You know, it's like there's more to us than what we just do on stage. I mean, we are funny people. We make people laugh, but at the same time, in order for us to create those funny jokes, there's a lot of intelligence behind that. It's not just we're not just tip dancing up on that stage. We're saying some real stuff, and we make it very humorous. So we are some very intelligent people.
I like that. And sometimes it needs to be delivered as such, because right now with what we're going through, it's not just about comedy that will save people. You know, as much as I say, you know, it is better to laugh than to cry all the time, right? Yeah. But we also have to exercise different parts of us. You know, we need the entrepreneurs, the business-minded people. We need the farmers. You know, we need the teachers. We even need we need all types of people right now. What message would you give to people right now who are actually feeling confused and lost and feel like maybe, you know, being stuck at home, they're wasting their time? You know, how could they make use of that time, Celeste?
Let me tell you something.
Okay, go. You go first.
I'll go.
Southern Africans, we are the least.
You guys. That's why I understand your dance.
We are the nearest of the
continent. Alfred, you go.
So what I've learned is from, honestly speaking, from doing a lot of reading of history, is like during the greatest crisis is when some of the biggest opportunities come. This is not the time for you to wallow and cover yourself under the bed and say, woe is me, we are doomed. No, ma'am, this is the worst time that we're living through, but at the same time, it is the greatest time, because now we're emerging into a new world. Yeah. A new world needs new ideas, new ways of thinking, new products. This is the time to think and grow rich. There's no time to be like, pity-potty, we gonna die. I ain't dying. Hey, if we're gonna be doing shows online, to me, I'm thinking this is a new era. I'm gonna be doing a stand-up show where thousands of people can stream live and pay me money from Australia, from Congo, from wherever. Some countries where I'm not able to go as of yet. Yeah. This is the time for new innovation, a new community where our farmers can now say, instead of producing for the big markets, most of the big markets are failing now. You're not producing for your community, for your small community. Yeah. You know what I mean? Develop right there where you are. I mean, it's no time to start crying, man. We in a new world, new era, and we're the next generation to take this old school ways of thinking, throw it away in the basket. It's gone. Coronavirus then came and cleaned it out. Now we're emerging in a new form of living.
Come on.
So I'm excited about it.
Celeste, what do you say to that?
Exactly where he is, but I'm gonna add on the spiritual part because I feel we were a mess. I don't know why people are crying. We were a mess. You know what I mean? Like we were such a mess in the world, not us as Africans or whatever, in the world. Human beings have lost how it is to be human and be beings. Like it was crazy. I think even if whatever conspiracy is there, even if it's politics, if it's science, if it's China, I don't know what happened, but I believe that the superpower was involved, that we also get to be in check in our different levels and wherever we are. So I like most especially like in South Africa, I've seen people resorting to our traditional stuff. Because they've been working, you know, like even in the sense of our routines in the morning, having tea with the family. Because we were now busy living in another life. And this has become
very fast as well, very fast life.
Yeah. And fast going nowhere. So it's like this one been a beautiful reset. A very sad, I can't say it's oxymoron to call it a beauty, but it is what it is. But it is a much needed reset. So we need to accept it as it is and take an opportunity to say, what is it that I need to fix? Not fix as such, like, what is it I need to do? Like you said before, you now know what is important, what is a need, what is a want. That's
a fact, you know. Talking about, you know, we're talking about reset. That's such a powerful word because we've been moving so fast that we haven't even realized that we're supposed to reset. Right. So now let me flip that question that I asked earlier about, you know, what advice would you give? Now let's talk about, you know, those voiceless. Let's talk about those who do not have the information that we have about coronavirus. Those who don't even believe coronavirus is there because they don't have enough information. You know, some of them are living outside of the urban areas. You know, a lot of them, some of the elderlies, they don't know any idea. Some do not even know how to keep safe. On top of that, and some are not kept daily updated, right? They're not updated daily in terms of what's going on every single day. You know, as you can see, people are responding to the pandemic differently now as we're learning more and more about it as there's been developments. So what would you say is the solution to get information to the voiceless, to those who have been forgotten, to those who cannot go on lockdown just like us, to have no choice but to continue to work?
I think it's time that we really act as a community. Because again, I found that some information that you want to share is being restricted on these platforms because this has become so political. You don't know which one the mainstream media is disagreeing with or agreeing with. You don't know. There are people now fighting over the thing. You know what I mean? Before we even have a solution for this pandemic, people are getting opportunities at the higher power that we don't have anything to do with. So I believe that when you have a great information about whatever it is that healed your brother, that healed whoever who had the flu, not that I'm saying people must just shake fair things, but whatever information to help, share it, steam, run, do this, do the chest exercise. You know what I mean? There are things that are within, that are more like on your homeopathic space that can be shared amongst communities. You share it with your family, with your friends, with the people that, you know what I mean? Because there's no way of, if I say to people now, wake up in the morning and eat beetroot paste with what they say, no, that's not a cure. And I'm not saying it's a cure. All I'm saying is that these are the things that you must look out for, because the media, unfortunately, is only feeding fear, and fear also cripples the immune system. People now are fearful. So however way you can comfort whoever that is closer to you, the community that is closer to you, your family, your neighborhood, share the positive information, because people are going crazy now. Before even the pandemic hit, people are really, really scared.
And you know what's
just being able.
Alfred, before you pick, I wanted to specifically talk on the fact that you are a diasporan right now. You're in the States. Okay, so when now we're talking about how you can relay this information, how you can do your part, right, for those back home. What kind of advice would you give to the global diaspora community on top of what you've got to say?
So basically, what I do, my day-to-day experience is the information that I'm getting here that I believe is the right information. I'm passing it on to my family. We have a family group of over 50, 60 people who are back home in Zimbabwe, right? And deciphering, because they also get information. And we're being able to communicate and talk real issues and say, look, what you've heard is probably not correct.
Yeah.
Here's what we're getting from either the CDC or the World Health Organization. Let's take these suggestions and run with them. As a family, let's protect each other first. Once you protected your family, it trickles down to their community where they live in. Because if they are secure, then they're not spreading anything to the rest of the world. So what I'm telling the diasporans here or anywhere else is do more of sharing real information with your family that's down on the ground.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Instead of spreading fake news from the media, you're not going to be willing to spread fake news to your family. So tell them the real deal so that they're safe. So if 5 people over here are telling 500 people back home what to do, now we've saved a whole community right there, and it just trickles down. So the more diasporans do that, let's keep it real with our family, and not just words. Let's also provide the resources to make sure that they're okay. You know what I mean? If we got the funds, like what Celeste was saying, send that $100, send that $200 to your family. Let them go get the masks. Don't just tell them to go get masks when you ain't even giving them the money to go buy the freaking masks.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Get them the money to go buy the water so they don't have to keep going out and trying to look for food out there. Provide the resources. It don't take much. With us being over here, man, I can spend $100 just like that. But back in Zimbabwe, it goes a long way.
I feel you. And you know what? So here's the thing, right? So I speaking to some people back home, not just in Congo, but across the continent, and also even my parents here. I remember speaking to my parents and they were at home, and I realized that Dad has not left the house, right? And I was like, Dad, you need, first of all, that vitamin D. You need that sunlight. We don't get enough sunlight in this country. You need to go for walks. My dad's like, go for walks so I can go and die. So no, Dad, just, take your wife, go for a quick walk. I need to feel that you guys are safe. So they actually, after a while, they realized I insisted. They went to the park. They sent me selfies to prove that we're here. We're in the right gigs. We're in the park doing our walk. But it's all to do with the fear. It's all to do with the unknown. What are some of the situations or messages or assumptions that you guys have received from family members that you're just thinking that is ridiculous? I've got to correct.
Well, first few weeks here in South Africa, it was, oh, thank God, one thing that kills white people and doesn't kill us.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was one of those guys who was actually saying it like, hey.
I said it myself. I was like, not that I was happy that way, but I was like, at least this time we are not going to be the face of any pandemic. We're the face of Ebola, HIV. Now we are this is not our face. I know because you put it in Americans.
Africans always find a way. Go on.
Listen, man, when this thing started, I was posting. I was that guy who was posting every day, like, Africa's still safe. We ain't dying. And then I started getting man, I went back to my Instagram page and I started deleting. I'm like, oh man, let me delete this mess. We are all.
You're gonna get Kevin Hearted. That's what you're gonna. You're gonna get Kevin Hearted, my guy. Let me tell you something. I don't type on Twitter. I check what's going on Twitter, then I load up Instagram and let whatever I put on Instagram go up on Twitter. I am not trying to look back and say, oh, what did I do wrong? I don't even type on Twitter. But it's interesting, Celeste, what you're saying about, the guy saying finally it's not us, it's other people for now. But we are so used to pandemics. We are so used to viruses.
Yeah.
Do you know, they were talking about Congo and Ebola and stuff, and I feel like, people have gotten used to it. We have figured out our own way to deal with it. So why couldn't we have been left to deal with our own way? There's a conversation that's happening right now that's to do with, taking Western ideology to apply it to African problems. What's your stance on that?
My sister is in Senegal, and my other sister is in France. So I get the chance for them to tell me. And my sister in France is a doctor. So she will tell me stuff that is happening in France. And she's in Marseille, where there's a lot of African people and, well, the rest of the world. Yeah. So in Senegal, because they dealt with Ebola, they're doing good. Although they're not using your normal, they're not waiting for the ventilators in America. Apparently they've got their own ventilator that they've cooked up. I don't know, it costs like $50 cheaper, whatever. Yeah. So they have their options because they've been dealing with Ebola. It was easier for them to quickly organize to fight another pandemic because they've been with Ebola. So those are the things that I'm saying. The media does not say those things because those things are hopeful. Even if I'm in South Africa, when I hear that in Senegal, they're doing their best, because South Africa is the most hit in the continent. The other people, not really. And again, it was that whole thing of, you people, South Africa will be hit because it's full of white people. We are relaxed in our corners.
The pandemic has come to save you. Super pandemic. I'm on my way.
But you know what? I've been one guy though who has been spreading that good news, like that Senegal story. I posted. I was shocked that they're actually using 3D printers to make their own ventilators, and they have mitigated. I mean, there's virtually like maybe less than 50 deaths, and then that whole Madagascar. I want to talk about that. Yeah, come on. I'm pushing that because listen to me, man. Before imperialism, before colonialism came into Africa, our ancestors were using natural herbs,
and they survived.
So
they built pyramids. Maybe we should be drinking. They built pyramids. Like
the healing of the nation in herbs. It's in the herbs. We gotta go back to the roots, man, because this medicine that they're making in these labs are not working.
You guys in America drinking Kool-Aid, that's not good enough.
Listen,
not at all. Not at all.
I spoke to this traditional healer because I was asking him about the thing. Because what Madagascar has, we have that main ingredient as a herb, and it's a very popular one in this country. Like you can find it anywhere. Like right now, boys are running around looking for the tree, cutting it.
Send it to me, please. I need it.
You know. Let me say something at this point.
There's rumor that it might.
Celeste, let me make this point. You know what's interesting? When there's a difference to saying running around, because that's what I love about Southern Africa. When you hear that running, that means they are really running. This is not they're running around, and then there's running around. That's us. There's many us, my dude. So I believe boys are really running around. So go on.
So yeah, that thing is there. Like everyone else is drinking it, steaming and doing their thing. Like literally, I would say, government or no government, on the ground, people have hit the ground running with their stuff. They've gone to their traditional healers. And I spoke to this one traditional healer, and she told me that, listen, even the government is asking what ingredients are we putting in.
So the government are asking low key. This is what people are not telling us.
Yeah, low key. They don't want to say they
low key. Okay.
And we should never be ashamed of our herbal traditional medicine, man.
Ever. Yeah. Because what has happened is that they said in Zimbabwe, traditional healers got together and approached the government, and apparently the government showed them the finger. Okay. So this word spread, to other traditional healers, and they were like, you know what, nobody says anything because they only know this one main ingredient. They don't know the other stuff.
That was
because they've been this concoction, not the Madagascar thing, that has been around for people who are mostly asthmatic and bronchitis and kids. The traditional healers have been healing people for years, for centuries, with this. Passed it from another traditional to another traditional healer. They are the ones who know how to mix the herbs and make the concoction. So now it's a matter of, the media doesn't really want to put it out there because no one is talking about it, but the streets know.
So where do we go from here? Where do we go from here, guys? In terms of as a unit, you know, with INFORAFRICA, the aim was to, you know, to get as many influencers from around the world as possible to be able to not only raise funds for those organizations on ground that are actually helping, but also to make sure we get the information around. Where is the balance? Where do, in terms of using ourselves as a unit, as a people, where is the balance between what we're talking about here, our own solutions, but also looking at the very health, you know, solution from the experts? They're putting on your mask, they're washing your hands, the social distancing. How long are we gonna keep that out? How do we balance the two so people don't get derailed on just thinking about, you know, prevention is better than cure?
For me, I believe I will say it in a layman's term, let's go back home on what healed us, because I'm learning now that there's a level of understanding what we eat, what properties come into. We are a certain model of a car that needs a certain, you know what I mean? Like you can't take an electric car and put a gasoline in it.
I love that.
So as Black people, we've been removed from our gasoline.
Yes.
In what we eat, in how we heal ourselves, in what is being centered, in how we celebrate our culture, tradition, religion even, you know?
Yeah.
So this is a great moment, because what our forefathers had done, when we moved up the Western world, kind of looked down on the thing. And I see so many people now not afraid to approach traditional healers like, hey, you know, but we've been removed from such people. We've been like, oh, they are traditional people. I'm more Western, I eat sushi. So it's like, we need to go back to who we are. We need to
That's right.
And go back home, because at home, there's much more healing than we think.
There you go.
And that does not require anyone to give you any permission to be who you are.
Alfred.
And to add on to that, I believe that the way forward for us and the balance for us as Africans is to realize that we don't have to believe everything that's coming from the Western world. We don't have to accept every antidote or every vaccine that they try to put in our bodies. We each one teach one. We can definitely spread our own good news, what's working in our community, and it might not necessarily work for the Western world. What a gorilla eats is different from what a polar bear eats. We are gorillas. You know what I'm saying? So we got to figure out what gorillas eat and thrive on and gravitate towards that. That's what Africa is. We're different. We're not polar bears. So let's figure out what works for us and spread each other from Cape Town to Cairo. We got to make sure that we spread the word that this is what works on this continent for our people. And let's now plow in the resources. Yet again, we cannot have our hand out for everything, because when we do this, then we end up accepting everything that they put towards us. You know what I'm saying? But some of this stuff is very harmful. So whether it's the money, the funds that we need, we got enough resources now as a people to where we don't need to keep asking for money from anybody else.
Sure. Human resources,
you know what I mean?
We have everything. Business resources. We've got some of the most intelligent people in the world right now. So here's the thing, guys. Like, as comedians, like I said earlier, you take care of people. How do you take care of yourself? How do you make yourself laugh? What makes you laugh? What's funny to you, Alfred?
Watching Eddie Kadi and Celeste Nthuli makes me laugh. Shit.
To be honest,
that's a good one. I like
that. To be honest, watching you is the most amazing. Like, I'll be watching on Instagram, like, this guy. somewhere at the wedding, going with the bride. Hey! I'm like, you.
There's a lot of comedians out there, and we've been in the game for so long. I don't laugh at everything now. I really don't. But there's just some people that really just makes me laugh. My African comedians make me laugh. I have a good time, watching good content, and just watching comedy, man. Movies, and sometimes I make my own self laugh. I like watching people laugh at what I'm saying. Like, whoa, I'm just saying that and they're cracking up. So when they crack up, eye cracker. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's your joke. You're the one who knows it's funny.
Yeah.
It's you. So, Celeste, tell me the languages that you speak apart from English.
Yeah. Zulu,
Language you speak.
Xhosa, I do speak Tswana and a bit of Sotho, but I mix it up because Tswana and Sotho are the dialects that I
so that is beautiful. So I want a little challenge for you. Yeah, a little challenge. So let me set the trend. Mbote baninga na ngai na Congo na zamwa na bino kuma na ngeza Eddie Kadi na za na London me na zamwa na Congo na bota na Masina na Kinshasa na zo souhaiter bino nyonso na loba na moment oyo to mi batela to sambela to mi protéger pe na ba moment oyo eza tellement difficile ba moment oyo eza pasi mais information eza important yango na sengi na bino nyonso ba na Congo bo mi batela to sambela to landana to ebake na moment oyo pe ekosila na sambeli nzamba pambola bino nyonso biso bana na bino na diaspora to bosani bino te. Merci. So this is over to you. I wanted to drop in one language a message to your people. A message of togetherness, a message of unity, and the one you're most comfortable. Even if you give it to us twice, because I want to make sure the thoughts of people understand. The Zulus also understand something. So it's a short.
Okay, and Zulu is close.
It's close.
I'm gonna
Okay.
do Zulu.
Let's go.
Sanibonani igama lami nguCeleste Nthuli, South Africa. Ngizalelwe eMpangeni. Ngiyajabula ukuthi ngithola ithuba lokuthi ngibe lana Eddie Kadi ku platform yakhe. Ngizodlulisa umyalezo ukuthi ngalesikhathi samanje sisalwisana nesifo sibhalele umhlaba wonke. Isifo secorona. Ngicela ukuthi bonke abantu bakwazi ukuthi bahlale emakhaya, bahlambe izandla, bazinakekele, kodwa niqinisekise ukuthi emphefumulweni wenu enikudlayo kuyinto eyakha izicubu zomzimba ngoba lesi sifo sihlasela kakhulu uma ngabe isifuba sakho singaqinile namasosha omzimba akho engaqinile. So akwenziwe isiqiniseko sokuthi siyaphuza amanzi, siyadla, sidla ukudla okuhlanzekile kulabo abasafuna ukuthi babe nendawo yokuthi bathole ukudla nemali nokunjalo. Ngiyabakhulekela ukuthi Nkosi yami bekhona bazosiza no government akwazi ukuthi asisize. Kodwa kwamanje asibambane singasabi ngoba sizodlula kulokhu sizonqoba njenganjalo. Ngiyabonga.
That was beautiful. You want to make me cry?
It's like a song.
Oh my God! Oh my God! That was so beautiful, man. I didn't even understand one word. I heard my name. I got a shout out, Alfred. I got a shout out. Alfred. So what about your own? You are a Zim boy, because
yes.
You know me. I'm always saying to Alfred. Alfred, you're an American boy now. You're too.
Yeah, I say it to him.
You know we get that as well, Alfred. When we come back to the continent, they look at us like, yeah, this British boy, this American boy.
Right.
When you're over in America, you're in the UK, we're the African comedians. So like we can't even win, right? But your language, what's your language?
I speak Shona.
You speak Shona. Give it to us. Yeah.
Maskwera sei mamuka sei vana veZimbabwe tasangana pano na Eddie Kadi tukuungana sevana veAfrica tina Celeste Nthuli tukuya neshoko rimwe chete shoko rekuti seAfrica ngatibatanei tose kuti tirwisane nechirwere ichi cheCoronavirus. Tikutaurirana kuti ngatigezei maoko, ngatigarei mumba, ngatiteerere vari kutitungamirira, vari kutipa shoko ravari kutipa kuti tizvichengetedze. Kune avo vari kunze kwenyika vanokwanisa kubatsira vari kumusha, tumirai mari, tumirai zvekuti vatenge vagare mumba vasarambe vachibuda panze kuti vazvikanganise, ngavatenge nemamaski, ngavazvichengetedze. Semhuri imwe yeAfrica tinokunda tibatane sevanhu vamwe chete. Pane rimwe zuva tichashambadza tichiti Africa yakakunda. Ndatenda.
My people, I think that
I want to do this.
Listen, Alfred, that was not even Alfred. You know who that was? That was
I think Alfred works for FBI.
Yo, that was Kainga.
I'm starting to suspect the CIA tendencies. Yo, the way he's so American.
I'll be honest with you, I have heard that on several occasions because I also speak fluent Spanish as well. So
what? No, you don't.
Really?
See, the problem is, Celeste, the problem is when a man says, I also speak fluent Spanish, I'm like, give us 10 seconds. Let's talk about Corona. Give a message on Corona in Spanish. He wants
No,
he
we're
wants
not
to
going
show
to do
us
that. You're going to blow my cover.
Now, come on now. We want to hear it. We want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Me llamo César Alfredo. Me vive aquí en Dallas, Texas. Chale ganas.
This guy is out here just taking over the world. Celeste, you know, it makes me think, who is this man? Is it Alfredo Kainga? Is it Alfred Kainga? Or is it just Kainga? I'm not even sure. But
Hey, I'm a global citizen. I'm a global citizen.
I think Alfred, as soon as the passport is stamped coming to Africa, he changes.
He's ready.
Yes.
You know, it goes to show how beautiful our language is how important it is that for those, not everybody understands English, French, you know, Spanish, Portuguese. And sometimes we need to spread this information to make sure it gets to the right. It's to also show that we can actually find solutions within our own culture. And our language is the number one face of our culture. You know, our food, our language, our fashion, our music, our our spirituality. All those things are extremely, extremely important. So before we go, I just want to give you guys an opportunity to leave a special message for all those who are watching around the world, and also to stress that we are fundraising. We are, raising donation on behalf of the World Health Organization, on behalf of the Pact of the African Union, the African CDC. These are different organizations in their own way that are spreading good messaging, but also helping to actually help those who are on ground. All those different organizations on ground doing a thing, we want to also support them. So any special messages to actually rally people around to make sure they donate throughout these next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and moving forward.
I would say let's remember the kindness that we are. Maybe in the books of history we are written as survivors, as people who are, but on a bigger level we are much more grateful to have an emotional intelligence that most people do not have. So I say let's go back to that. In Zulu sithi umuntu ungumuntu ngabantu. So you only are a human being by being a human being to other human beings. So let's remember that we are human beings first before anything else. Yes. And the more we extend the kindness, the more we're going to attract the kindness that we want for ourselves. And I'm begging for all us as Africans to really start having the mentality of assuming and seeing ourselves in a happy space. I feel we are the people that have been in pain for too long. We know how to function in pain, and that on its own is not a good thing for being a human being. That's not how we should function. That messes us up in different ways, mentally, physically, spiritually, and otherwise. So the best thing to do is to be kinder to ourselves and to be kinder to the next person. And for those who do not have proper information, because literally the media is filled with negativity. And as Africans, we've been swimming in negativity for centuries. So it's up to us to imagine ourselves in a happy space where we are who we are. Because quite honestly, the reason why we didn't go around and look for things in the world, because we were enough. And for us to understand that we are enough, let's just go back to that being enough. When you are enough here, you're going to be enough in everything else. Because sometimes I'm learning that things I don't want and things I don't need. So if you are fortunate enough to have the things that you need, take the money of the things that you want and give it to those who need things. So basically, let's try and exercise Ubuntu at its highest form.
Yeah.
Well said, Mr. Kainga.
I mean, what else can you say about that? Let's love one another. Let's care for one another. I mean, love as a brotherhood, as a family, as a continent. That's what's going to push us forward and get rid of the greed and the corruption and the selfishness, because that spirit of Ubuntu should spread all over Africa, and that's what's going to bring healing. Because when you are not holding back, you're not holding back information, you're not holding back resources, you're not holding back something that will save another person's life. So let's spread the love all the way across. And Eddie, you're doing a wonderful thing. Great job. Anything I can do to add on to this great initiative, man. I'm absolutely amazed. And, we're going to do what we can do to help raise funds for all these organizations that you've said we're working with. So I look forward to being a part of this festival, June 6th. And Come on, people. We're going to who's going to be the it? Can you tell us who's going to be Janet? I'm already.
Alfred, we might even get you to drop us a few links from the States, you know, as one of the co-hosts. Celeste is already in. So we might be looking at the co-host right here. You understand? It might be might be the case.
Yes.
So, you know, you might have to drop some of that Spanish again, because you have shown me a different face. That's what I'm saying. So it's going to be amazing, man. And we're going to be releasing the lineup of, you know, very, very soon. Guys, Celeste Nthuli, Alfred Kainga, thank you for joining me on this ComEddie Hour. Thank you for keeping Alfred away from crying. You know, we have definitely laughed, and it has stopped us from crying.
But before we go, whoever sold you that tablecloth needs to get shot. You need to. I'm keeping my summer. I'm like, hey, whoever made that into a shirt.
Alfred, this is the Congo man.
You know, as Congolese, we're creative. So I went to the local park.
If you walk outside right now, be careful of the bees.
I got hay fever right now. I was wondering why I'm sneezing, not knowing it's my own pollen.
It's the flowers. The flowers.
Alfred, you must know that Congolese men are the first men on earth to wear pink.
You're right.
It was never.
Some people, when they wear pink, it looks like ink. You know, so.
Eddie Kadi.
Hey, I love you guys. I love you guys.
My guys,
God bless you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon,
man.
Thank you so much.
Much love.
Bye-bye.
You're doing great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You're crazy.
Crazy people.